Did you know that most people believe staying constantly active is the key to aging well? But what if I told you that moving less might actually be more important for your well-being after 70? Today's world tells us to keep moving, stay busy, and never slow down. Yet research is showing us something surprising, something that could transform how you experience your golden years. I'm about to share 3 simple practices that have changed lives across America, including Margaret's story, which deeply moved me. These aren't your typical aging tips. They're profound truths that nobody's talking about. And the third one might be exactly what you've been searching for. Before we begin, share your city in the comments below. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more life-changing insights. 1. The art of mindful rest. Let me share something that really opened my eyes. Recently, I was at a local community center in Chicago when I met David, a 75-year-old former marathon runner. You know what he told me? I spent my whole life believing that more movement meant better health. Now I know better. See, David used to pride himself on being the most active person at his retirement community. Morning runs, afternoon tennis, evening walks. He was always on the move. But despite all this activity, he felt constantly drained. His joints were hurting, and surprisingly, his blood pressure was rising. Then something unexpected happened. After a minor injury forced him to slow down, David discovered what he calls his golden formula, the art of mindful rest. It's not about doing nothing, he explains. It's about doing less, but with more purpose. And he's on to something important. Dr. Sarah Johnson, who spent 20 years studying aging at Mayo Clinic, recently found that older adults who practice strategic rest actually show better health outcomes than those who stay constantly active. It's about quality over quantity, she explains. Your body after 70 needs more recovery time. It's not being lazy, it's being smart. Let me share what this looks like in practice. David now starts his day with what he calls his morning mindful moments. Instead of jumping straight into activities, he takes 15 minutes to sit quietly on his porch, sipping his coffee and just observing the world wake up. I used to think this was wasting time, he chuckles. Now I know it's what gives me energy for the whole day. Throughout his day, he includes what experts call strategic rest periods. These aren't naps, though a short nap isn't a bad thing. Instead, they're intentional pauses between activities. Maybe it's sitting for 10 minutes after running errands or taking a moment to breathe deeply before starting the next task. Think of it like pressing the reset button on your energy levels. Here's what's fascinating. Since adopting this approach, David's sleep has improved, his blood pressure has normalized, and he actually has more energy for the activities he truly enjoys. I still play tennis, he says, but now I play better because I'm well rested. Let's try something together right now. Take a deep breath with me. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Feel the way your body rests against your chair or couch. Notice how it feels to simply be still for a moment. This small pause, it's not doing nothing. It's giving your body and mind the reset they're craving. The key is understanding that rest isn't the opposite of activity. It's what makes meaningful activity possible. Think about it. When you're well rested, doesn't everything else become easier? Your movements are more precise, your mind is clearer, and you actually enjoy what you're doing instead of just pushing through it. Dr. Johnson's research shows that people who practice mindful rest report a 40% increase in their daily energy levels. But here's what's really interesting. They also show improved balance, better cognitive function, and stronger social connections. Why? Because when you're not exhausted, you're more present in everything you do. Want to try this approach yourself? Start small. Tomorrow morning before you jump into your day, take just 5 minutes to sit quietly. Don't plan. Don't worry. Just be. Notice how different your morning feels. That's your first step into the art of mindful rest. Remember, moving less doesn't mean giving up activity. It means making your activities more purposeful. As David says, I'm not doing less with my life. I'm living more by doing less. Now let me share something even more surprising, how this connects to finding joy in the smallest moments. 2 simple joys, deeper satisfaction. You know what's interesting about slowing down? You start noticing things you've been missing all along. Let me tell you about Linda from Denver, who taught me something beautiful about finding joy in life's simple moments. Linda used to be a high-powered executive, always chasing the next big achievement. Even after retiring at 73, she kept that same mindset, filling her calendar with grand plans and activities. "I thought I needed big moments to feel fulfilled," she told me with a gentle laugh. "I couldn't have been more wrong." Everything changed when she started a small garden on her patio. Not a huge project, just a few pots of herbs and flowers. At first, she thought it was too simple to matter, but then something remarkable happened. Each morning, while watering her plants, she began noticing things. The way sunlight caught the dewdrops, the subtle changes in the leaves, the gentle sway of the plants in the morning breeze. "It was like discovering a whole new world," she says, "right in my own backyard." These tiny moments, these simple observations, they started filling her with a joy she'd never experienced in all her years of chasing bigger goals. The Positive Aging Project recently found something fascinating. People over 70 who find satisfaction in simple daily experiences report 60% higher life satisfaction than those always seeking major achievements. Think about that for a moment. It's not the big events that make life rich. It's the small, everyday moments we often overlook. Let me share 3 simple ways to discover these moments of joy. Linda calls them her happiness anchors, and they've transformed not just her life, but the lives of many others I've shared them with. First, try what Linda calls the morning marvel. Each morning, find one small thing that catches your attention. Maybe it's the warmth of sunlight on your face, the taste of your morning coffee, or the sound of birds outside your window. Just notice it fully. Don't rush past it. Give yourself permission to enjoy it completely. Second, practice what we call sensory moments. Throughout your day, pause occasionally to really experience one of your senses. Feel the texture of your favorite sweater. Smell the fresh air after rain. Listen to the quiet hum of your home. These aren't just observations. They're doorways to joy. Third, and this one's my favorite, create what Linda calls connection spots. These are simple, regular moments of connection, either with others or with yourself. It might be a daily phone call with a friend while sitting in your favorite chair, or a weekly visit to your local coffee shop where you've become a familiar face. Here's what's amazing. These simple practices actually change how our brains work. Dr. Robert Lewis at the Center for Aging Studies found that people who regularly notice and appreciate small pleasures show improved memory, better mood, and even stronger immune systems. It's not just about feeling good, it's about living better. Let's try something right now. Take a moment to look around you. What's one small thing you can see that brings you a bit of joy? Maybe it's a favorite photo, a comfortable chair, or the way light falls across your room. Just notice it, appreciate it. That's all. But that's everything. Linda now says her happiest moments aren't the big events she used to chase. They're in her morning garden ritual, in the taste of fresh herbs she grew herself, in the friendly waves from neighbors passing by. "I used to think joy was something you had to pursue," she says. "Now I know it's something you simply need to notice." You know what's beautiful about this approach? Anyone can do it, anywhere, anytime. You don't need special equipment, a big budget, or even much time. You just need to open your eyes and your heart to the simple pleasures already present in your life. Before I share our third practice, which builds perfectly on this one, let me ask you, what small joy have you noticed today? Maybe it's something you usually take for granted. 3. Living with gratitude. Let me take you to a small coffee shop in Boston where I met Bob, an 84-year-old who completely changed how I think about gratitude. Every morning at 7 a.m., you'll find him at his regular table, sipping his coffee and writing in a small notebook. "Want to know what makes life truly rich?" he asked me one morning, sliding his notebook across the table. Inside weren't grand plans or bucket lists. Instead, each page held simple notes. "Today's coffee tastes especially good." Sarah called. Her voice always makes me smile. "Watch the sunrise" reminded me how lucky I am to see another day. What Bob had discovered wasn't just gratitude. It was a whole new way of experiencing life. "When you're younger," he told me, "you're always looking ahead to the next big thing. But at my age, I've learned that the real treasure is in appreciating what's already here. Let me share something surprising. Recent studies show that people who practice gratitude regularly have stronger immune systems, better heart health, and even sleep better at night. But here's what's really interesting. It's not about forcing yourself to feel thankful for everything. It's about noticing what already brings you joy. Bob's morning ritual is beautifully simple. Before opening his notebook, he takes 3 slow sips of coffee. With each sip, he thinks of one thing he's grateful for. Not big things, just simple moments that make life good. Sometimes he chuckles, "I'm just grateful for this coffee." Want to try something that has changed the lives of many people I've shared it with? It's called the Evening Gratitude Ritual. Before bed, think of 3 things from your day. Tiny things that made you smile. Maybe it was the warmth of the sun, a comfortable chair, or a kind word from someone. Just acknowledge these moments, that's all. Bob also taught me about what he calls gratitude connections. Every time he talks to his children or grandchildren, he makes sure to mention one specific thing he appreciates about them. Not just "I love you," he explains, but something like, "I love how you always remember to call on Sundays," or "Your laugh reminds me of your mother." These specific mentions of gratitude he's found deepen his relationships in wonderful ways. Here's something we can try together right now. Take a breath and think of one person who adds something positive to your daily life. Maybe it's the mailman who always smiles or the neighbor who waves hello. Just hold that person in your thoughts for a moment and feel grateful for their presence in your life. You know what's beautiful about gratitude? It grows. Bob tells me that since he started his morning ritual, he finds more and more things to be grateful for. It's like training your eyes to see treasure, he says. Once you start looking for it, you find it everywhere. The community at Bob's coffee shop has noticed the change in him. Other regulars started asking about his notebook, and now there's a small group that meets weekly to share their gratitude moments. We call ourselves the Grateful Hearts Club, he laughs. Sounds cheesy, but it works. Some mornings, Bob admits, it's harder to find things to be grateful for. That's normal, but he's learned that even on difficult days, there's usually something. The comfort of a familiar routine, the kindness of a stranger, or simply the gift of another day to experience life. Remember Margaret, who we met at the beginning? She joined Bob's morning coffee group recently. Between moving less, finding joy in simple things, and practicing gratitude, she tells me, "I've never felt more alive." Let's pause for a moment. Think about your day so far. What's one small thing you could write in your own gratitude notebook? It doesn't have to be big or important, just real, just true. As we come to the end of our journey together, remember what we learned from Margaret, David, Linda, and Bob. Moving less doesn't mean living less. It's about living more deeply. Through mindful rest, finding joy in simple moments, and practicing gratitude, we can transform our golden years into truly golden moments. Why not try these 3 practices for just 1 week? Start with 5 minutes of morning quiet. Notice one simple joy each day. End with a moment of gratitude. You might be surprised by how differently you feel. Share your city in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on living your best life at any age. See you in the next video.